Let's start this video off with something that's good for the soul. Go outside your home for a minute. Please take me with you, don't shut the video off, I need views, and look around. Take a big whiff of the air around you. To the untrained, it may just appear as a normal summer day, but some of us know better. After a year of being stuck inside, summer 2021 seems to have flown by faster than any summer prior. With restrictions being lifted due to the hunter's nightmare, we'll call it, everyone just wanted to get out and do, well, everything. It's like people were trying to steal back a year of their lives, making the summer disappear almost instantly. And honestly, I don't blame anyone for that. But just because summer is coming to a close doesn't mean life becomes a drag. Oh, quite the contrary. As we enter the fall and winter seasons, an elite faction of the human species begins to thrive, unburdened with the pressures of going outside, getting a tan, or touching grass. This body of intellectuals gains power as the leaves fall and the air grows cold. That's right. I'm talking about gamers, baby! Gamers! Let's go, gamers! Woo, 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 woo! The harsh weather makes the tail end of each year a perfect time to snuggle up with a blanket, warm drink, and play some games. Being loaded with holidays also means that many of the biggest releases of each year come out around this time. And while it's exciting to see what adventures wait beyond the horizon, sometimes we find ourselves not wanting to try new things. Sometimes revisiting an old favorite is more fulfilling than investing time in the latest and greatest. These are what I like to call comfort games. A comfort game can be a lot of different things. To some, it's something mindless to play while listening to a podcast or doing something else. To others, you become fully invested each time you play, shutting out everything else around you. Or even more simply, it's just something fun you revisit time and time again. Regardless, comfort games hit a certain sweet spot in the gamer brain as, since you know what you're getting into, the quality of said game remains consistent. You end up enjoying equally, or even more than, your first playthrough. Every time you play, you get something new out of the experience, without the need of familiarizing yourself with the new gameplay mechanics, enemy patterns, level design, etc. It's a warm, fuzzy feeling that I hear non-gamers like into drinking warm apple cider while watching the leaves change. Like, yeah, there's an Animal Crossing event for that. I don't particularly have a goal for this video, I kinda just wanna make a video and talk, but maybe listening to me ramble on about some of my own comfort games will indirectly help one of you guys realize your own. This is cool down gaming after all, so please sit back, relax, and let's begin with a game that instills a sense of peace and tranquility. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on the GameCube is the game of my life. It not only kicked off my Sonic fanaticism, it is the source of my love for video games, period. There's only about 10 million videos online telling you why this game is good or bad, but I try to ignore that riffraff. The Sonic fandom has its ups and downs, and nearly everyone has an opinion on this game. But I block all of that out when I'm playing Sonic Adventure 2 because this game is for me. I will probably never make a video on this game. Well, besides this one. Partially because I don't know what I could say that someone hasn't said better, but also because I don't want to. I don't want to share my opinion and potentially have others interact with it. I just want this game to be something I play for myself, for my own enjoyment and nothing else. And that should honestly be the guiding principle for comfort games. Play it for your own enjoyment. A comfort game should be a game you play regardless of outside influence. A Metacritic score or a gaming influencer like Jake Paul saying it's bad shouldn't deter your enjoyment of the game, while positive press shouldn't pressure you into thinking you should like something you may not. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on the GameCube rests at a 73 on Metacritic. For many, seeing the yellow tape is enough to steer clear. But I don't care. I play this game all the way through on a yearly basis at this point and fall in love with it every time. I mean, come on, look at this! Mwah. Masterpiece. Now I know everyone's thinking, Swim, this looks like a fast-paced action platformer. What's so relaxing or comforting about this? Okay, fair enough. Maybe the speedy levels are a bit too much for you. Well, there's another option. Introducing everyone's real favorite part of the game, okay, so I know many people hate these sections, but I think they serve as a great breakup from the rest of the game. If you're not going for S ranks, it's fun to explore, beat up robots, and fly around. Like, look how picturesque this is right here. Just gliding around in a haunted pumpkin field looking for shiny emeralds while listening to a hip-hop and jazz fusion. To me, there's nothing cozier. But even still, I can see plenty of you right now thinking to yourselves, ugh, I hate robots and ghosts, and I'm terrified of jazz. And you know what? Good for you, because my comfort game doesn't have to be yours. Everyone has their own preferences and everyone plays games differently. So yeah, in case you haven't gotten it through your head yet, pick a game that you enjoy no matter how you enjoy playing it. If you spend $60 on a game and only play one mode, but you invest hundreds of hours playing that one mode and have fun the entire time, that's as good of a way to spend your money as someone who plays everything a game has to offer. Don't let people tell you how to play, what to like, what to hate. Just play. Okay, Swim, I see where you're going with this, but I just can't picture it with Sonic, you know? Not my thing, so I'm having a hard time figuring out what my game should be. That's fine. Despite the fact we can never be friends now, I'm still dedicated to the cause. So let's look at another example. Now, I understand this is a bit of an odd choice for a comfort game because it's not necessarily something you can just pick up and play. The first 5 to 7 hours of this game, you're having to familiarize yourself with all the mechanics at work. There's walls of text to read, and first playthroughs can range from 70 to 120 hours. But what if I told you all of that was good? Another aspect of finding your comfort game is choosing one that you can take your time on, and Persona 5 is the epitome of that philosophy. The loading screen quite literally tells you so. The comfort of Persona 5 lies in the characters you interact with and the world you explore. Everything feels so genuine, I was blowing off my real friends to help Yusuke recapture his creative spark. Escapism is an overused term to describe how people approach video games, but that's really a valid way to describe Persona 5. It feels like I'm meeting up with old friends, and I can spend as much time there as I want. I can see a movie, go on a date, study for finals, topple a multi-billion-dollar franchise, you know, all in a day's work. If I'm being honest, the dungeons and turn-based battles were my least favorite part of the game, and that's not to say they were bad, far from it. The battle system is quick, snappy, and not over-encumbered with confusing mechanics. It didn't take long for me to get in and start kicking ass, and I felt intelligent for outplaying my opponents each time. But the life sim and character building stuff was just so good, I would finish a dungeon within 5 days so I could spend 20 attempting to romance the goth doctor down the street. Look, I know there are uncultured plebs who see Persona and immediately dismiss it as anime bullshit. And to be fair, there's a degree of that in the game, but not to the point of distracting the player from everything that makes it so special. It's a long game, but unless you are trying to 100% it, it's not a demanding one. Persona encourages you to take your time with it, ease into it, enjoy the ride. Beelining it straight for the credits isn't really the point of Persona, and may even result in an underleveled party. Taking the time to getting to know all the characters, fleshing out their plot lines, and exploring all the world has to offer is rewarding even without seeing stats increase. Rarely do games, even great ones, succeed at making everything they offer fun. But Persona is the rare case where each system just clicks. If you put the effort in, I'm confident the Phantom Thieves will steal your heart, as they did mine. Now, the games I've presented so far have been single-player focused, but I know there are those out there who won't even touch a game unless it has multiplayer. To me, this is the same as people who won't watch foreign films because of subtitles, but I digress. I'm known to frequent the online battlefields from time to time, but the rise of streaming has made plenty of my old favorites too competitive now for my liking. After work, I like just sitting down and blasting a few people. But nowadays, I log on and get bunny hop, wall bounce, cranked 180 slide canceled headshot into the ground, and I just don't have the time to keep up. But there's a safe haven for gamers like me, a place where we can go and dunk on kids just as often as we get dunked on. It's called Splatoon 2, or 3, depending on when you're watching this video. Splatoon is great because since it's on the Switch, most of the time you're just going to be mopping the floor with literal children who play this game, especially if you stick to the unranked turf wars. But then other times, you'll come across a team that has a couple of assholes like you on their side and they'll steamroll you. But it all balances out to the point where I never feel like I'm logging in match after match just getting my head kicked in. I think part of the reason Splatoon remains just a fun, casual experience for me, even when I do dip my toes into ranked, is because of the aesthetic. I'm not some genetically modified cyborg assassin bred to kill. I'm not an elite special ops agent who calls someone every time I kill them. Nah, I'm just some cute little squid kid playing with his friends and earning money to buy his next pair of Jordans. Splatoon is basically like playing paintball, but even more casual because a 46-year-old won't be charging children in a ghillie suit. It's bright, colorful, and carries a joyous atmosphere that makes it hard to take seriously even when things get sweaty. And that brings me to my final pillar of what makes a great comfort game: vibes. An overused, slightly cringe, but in this case accurate term, the vibe of the game needs to be one you can just mesh with regardless of the mood you're in. And it doesn't always have to be sunshine and rainbows. Mortal Kombat is a comfort game for many, myself included, and in that game you can do this. The vibe a comfort game creates should be one that you find welcoming regardless of the actual content said game contains. It's an aura that makes you feel at ease when you boot it up, and that will look different for everyone as shown in the previous example. Splatoon 2 is that vibe game for me because it makes me think of summer, of doing Nerf wars or paintball with friends, of childlike play that is nearly impossible to find in almost every other competitive online experience. Oh, and would you look at that, it has a fully fleshed out single player experience with additional DLC that expands the lore too. How fun! If you've dismissed Splatoon because it looks too cartoony and shooting at a map doesn't sound fun, I promise there's much more to it than that. If you want to sweat it out and go for high ranks, there's a thriving community there. But if you feel yourself getting burned out from other competitive offerings, I cannot recommend Splatoon 2 enough. Just don't wear your favorite outfit. There's paint on the wall. So now that you have an idea of what I look for in comfort games, maybe you have some ideas for games you want to try out next. Odds are you have a comfort game in your catalog already that you maybe just never viewed in that way, and now you can return to with newfound appreciation. Since you found yourself here, if you liked what you saw, give a big thumbs up to this video and subscribe for more gaming content. This has been Swim with Cooldown Gaming, and thanks for watching.